What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So over the next few days I want to do something a bit different, and we're going to start looking into ETFs in relation to ARK Invest. So one of the main reasons why I want to start looking into ARK Invest's ETFs is because firstly, obviously they're doing quite well, and second of all, they're actually very interesting in terms of innovation and growth, and certainly there is a lot of very interesting companies and picks that we'll look into in today's video. And as you're probably well aware if you've seen any of my other prior videos, that all 12 of my portfolio pies are made up of, let's say, for example, here we can see Walt Disney, Facebook, AT&T, just for example, in this pie alone. So they're all kind of more blue chip, stable companies. So it would be quite interesting as well to open up a further pie and kind of have a mix of ARK Invest's top picks and put them all into one ETF pie. And I believe that would be quite interesting as it'd be more of a growth stock pie instead of, let's say, my other 12 pies that I have that are all relatively kind of blue chip safe companies. So when you hop onto ARK Invest's website, we can see that they have many different strategies available, everything from disruptive innovation to next generation internet, genomic revolution, autonomous tech and robotics, fintech, mobility as a service, space exploration, 3D printing, Israel innovation, and cryptocurrency. So you can see there's a lot of very interesting categories here that are full of innovation and certainly full of growth potential. Over the next few days, we will mainly focus my videos on the actively managed innovation ETFs, and you can see here there is 5 currently with ticker ARKK, the ARK Innovation ETF, ARKQ, the autonomous tech and robotics, ARKW, next gen internet, ARKG, the genomic revolution, and finally ARKF, the fintech innovation. So in today's video we'll start off the top guy here, the ARK Innovation ETF. The way I'll structure these videos is that I'll give an overall brief description of what the ETF actually is. We'll have a very fast look at the overall holdings in that ETF, and we will then look at the top 5 or 6 companies in each of these ETFs in a bit more detail, with the hope of, after having these 5 videos, that we'll start to combine, maybe take the top 2 picks that I find out of each of the 5 ETFs and maybe putting those 10 companies into a mini ETF style pie on my own trading 2-on-2 portfolio. So the companies within the ARKK ETF include those that rely on benefit from the development of products and services, tech improvements and advancements in scientific research relating to DNA, industrial innovation in energy, automation and manufacturing, the increased use of shared tech infrastructure and services, and technologies that can make financial services more efficient. On the left here we can see the kind of brief overview of the fund details. Again, ticker is ARKK. It's an active equity ETF. We can see the QSIP. They have net assets of just under 9 billion with an expense ratio of 0.75%. They typically hold between 35 to 55 holdings in this ETF, with a weighted average market cap of 76.3 billion, and the portfolio manager is Catherine Wood. The current price of NAV is $120.62, and down below we can see the ARK performance over the last 3 months. The NAV has went up 29%, year to date it's up nearly 84%, and over the year to date is up an impressive 115%. It's also worth noting that 2 brokers I'm currently using, Trading 2-on-2 and DeGiro, do not hold these ETFs. However, you can even make up your own ETF because all these companies would be on those brokers. So that's it's fine in my opinion, as I wouldn't be investing in every single one of these. So again, as I said earlier in the video, my overall plan would be, let's say, to pick the best 1 or 2 companies that I find out of each of their top 5 ETFs and kind of combining them into one innovative growth kind of sector pie. The top 10 holdings in this ETF is Tesla, Crispr Therapeutics, ROKU Inc, Invitae Corp, Square Incorporated, Teladoc Health, Spotify, Proto Labs, Zello Group, and Pure Storage Incorporated. So the 5 we're going to look at today is Tesla, which takes up over 10.5% weighting in this ETF, ticker symbol TSLA. They have currently just under 2.5 million shares, which is a crazy number. We'll then look at Crispr Therapeutics with a weight of 6.64. They have 6.5 million shares here. Then we look at ROKU Incorporated, 6.45% weighting, over 3 million shares in this one. Invitae Corp, 6.4% with 17.5 million shares. And then finally, we look at Squire, which is over 5% weighting and has over 3.7 million shares. So the first company, and I'm pretty sure everyone on the planet knows about this, is Tesla with ticker symbol TSLA. Over the last year, it's gone up 866%, which is absolutely insane. I already hold Tesla in my own portfolio at the moment, albeit quite a small share. We only have 1/5 of a share, which cost me €123. We are currently up 65%, which is very impressive. So as you're probably well aware, Tesla designs, develops, manufactures and sells fully electric vehicles and energy storage systems, as well as installs, operates and maintains solar and energy storage products. The CEO is obviously Elon Musk. They have over 48,000 full-time employees. They have a market cap of $404.4 billion. And down below here, we can see the financial summary. For the past 6 months, ending the 30th of June 2020, Tesla revenues increased 10% to $12 billion. Net income totaled $120 million versus a loss of $1.11 billion. And revenues reflect automotive segment increase of 11% to $11.36 billion. Again, as there's 5 companies to get through today, I just want to kind of go through each very briefly, just to kind of give you an understanding of some of the companies. For example, this one, Crispr Therapeutics, that I actually haven't heard of before. So it's definitely very worthwhile just to give a brief synopsis of the top 5 companies within this ETF. And then once that is done, in further videos, we can do kind of further research and dive into certain companies that kind of pop out, in my opinion. And again, we'll pick about 2 companies from each of these ETFs and combine them into one overall pie. So Crispr Therapeutics has done quite well, in fact, extraordinarily well in the last year. They went up 102% and they went up about $74 per share. So Crispr Therapeutics is a Switzerland-based gene editing company, which is certainly very interesting. It focuses on the development and transformation of gene-based medicines for serious diseases. So again, that is very, very interesting. We can see down below here that they currently have 304 employees. They are in the healthcare sector, with their industry being biotechnology and drugs. And just some key ratios on the company: they have a market cap of just under 7 billion, a PE ratio of 83.67, with revenue of $289.59 million, and an earnings per share of $1.17. And again, as I mentioned, this is certainly a company that is new to me, so it'll be very interesting. This will be one of the companies I'm going to delve into a bit more after this video and do a bit more due diligence on this company. And who knows, it might even be one of the 2 companies that I take out of this ETF. The third top holding in this ETF is ROKU, and it is up 112% since this time last year, or $162. So its current NAV is $306 at time of recording. So ROKU operates television streaming platform. The company connects users to streaming content, enables content publishers to build and monetize audiences, and provides advertisers with capabilities to engage consumers. We can see that their CEO is Anthony Wood. They have 1,650 employees, headquartered in San Jose, the US. Sector is services, and their industry is broadcasting and cable TV. In terms of some key ratios, the market cap of $27.9 billion, they have revenue of $1.13 billion, with earnings per share negative 0.49 cent. In terms of a financial summary, year ended the 30th of June, revenues increased 48% to $676 million. Net loss increased from $19.1 million to $97.8 million, and revenues reflect platform segment increase of just under 60% to $477.3 million. The fourth company on this list is Invitae Corp, and has gone up a very, very impressive 210% in the last year, or $37, and its current NAV is $54.93. So Invitae Corp utilizes an integrated portfolio of laboratory processes, software tools, and information capabilities to process DNA containing samples and analyze the information for test reports for their patients. So certainly another very interesting company. Their CEO is Sean George. They're 1,500 employees, headquartered in San Francisco in the tech sector, and the industry is computer services. The company has a market cap of 10 billion with revenue of 216.82 million. They have an earnings per share of negative $2.66, and a brief summary that their revenues increased 17% to 110.4 million, and net loss increased from 86.4 million to 264.9 million. Revenues reflect the US segment's increase of 17% to 103 million. The final company, and being honest, is only the second of the 5 companies, also Tesla, that I actually knew of prior to this video, so it's very interesting to learn about all these new, very interesting kind of upcoming innovative companies. And ARK Invest is certainly the best place to get some tips on companies that you should invest in, especially if you're looking for kind of long-term growth, innovative kind of stocks. So the company is Square, and it is up 213% since last year, with a current NAV of $213. Square is a commerce ecosystem. The company enables its sellers to start, run, and grow their businesses. It combines software with hardware to enable sellers to turn mobile devices and computing devices into payments and point-of-sale solution. So again, as we kind of become more of a cashless economy, these kind of companies will certainly reap the rewards. The CEO is Jack Dorsey, and the employees is currently sitting at just over 3,800. San Francisco is the headquarters, with the sector being financial and the industry being consumer financial services. And in terms of the numbers on this company, they have a market cap of 83 billion with a PE ratio of 591, revenue of 4.7 billion, and an earnings per share of 32 cents. And a brief, since the 30th of June, Square revenues increased 55% to 3.3 billion, and net loss increased from 44.9 million to 117 million, and revenues reflected Bitcoin revenue segment increase from 190.6 million to an impressive 1.18 billion. So today I just want to go through the top 5 holdings in this ETF, which are again Tesla, Crispr Therapeutics, ROKU, Invitae, and Square. So I found it quite interesting that out of the top 5 holdings, I only knew the top 1 and the 5th one down, with the ones in between are completely new to me. So it's very, very interesting to learn about these kind of companies. And later on in the week, and maybe even over the weekend, when the dust kind of settles, once I have all 5 of these videos made, I'm going to look at each of the ETFs. I'm going to pick 2 companies from each of the 5 ETFs, and I'm going to start my own sector pie in my trading 2-on-2 portfolio to take the top 2 picks, or they don't even have to be the top 2 on the list as such, but I'm going to take the top 2 that I find the most promising and interesting, and we'll start a 10 company ARK Invest style pie on my trading 2-on-2 portfolio, and it'll be quite interesting to see how that goes. So with that being said, that brings the end to today's video. Just as always, if you're new around here, please consider subscribing to the channel, as we're currently on 515, so thanks very much for breaking the 500 subscriber mark a few days back. I really appreciate every single one of you, and our next goal is going to get to 550 and hopefully trying to get to 600 before the end of the year. So thanks very much, guys. I look forward to making tomorrow's ARK Invest ETF video as well, and I will see y'all in that video.